I'm Margaret, and I am a writer of children's books as well as a storyteller. I run the website Story Visions, and I love sharing stories with you. And I'm also a past preschool teacher. I'm hoping that before you watch this video, you have had an opportunity to watch the story video called Fishtail, a Fish Tale. And I'd like to talk to you about why that story works so well and what makes it work. Originally, this story's been modified, but it comes from a book called The Little Fish That Got Away. And this book was published quite a few years ago. It's a book that I used to read to my preschoolers, and they always loved the end, although they kind of got lost in the middle a little bit. And so I decided that this would be a fun one to tell. Originally, this story had a little fish, a big fish, a great big fish, and a great great big fish, which is wonderful for size comparisons. But when I took the story to my local storytelling coaching session, one of the first things they said was what I was kind of feeling innately as well, that it was too much. 4 was too much. So number one rule of thumb is that rule of 3. When I changed the story and went to a great, great big fish, a big fish, and a little fish, the story flowed. The story worked. So remember absolutely that rule of 3, because in most cases, it absolutely makes that story flow and work. The next thing that I looked at was, gosh, mostly it's from the little boy's point of view, and you get a sense of his character because he wants to catch these fish. But that's it. And that's not so very interesting. So I toyed with, let's have the animals talk. Well, that's distracting because fish don't talk. And maybe if we were in the 40s, 50s, or 60s, we might make them talk. But that's just not something we do now as much. And so my next thought was, let's make them think. And when you add that thought process, you give each of those fish their own unique character, and they become a part and a character within your story. So for example, the great, great big fish says,
it looks like a trap to me.
And of course he's very skeptical and he's very all-knowing. And that big fish looks at the worm and he says, oh, I'd rather have a fish. I'm looking for better things, looking for greener pastures. And so that's very much a part of his character, is he's always looking for the better deal. And then you have the little fish who says, wow, that's a big mouthful. He's bigger than I am. I don't think he'll work for me. And he's just a realist. He really knows. He's just a realist. And then when it comes around again, you have that great, great big fish who decides, well, he really is hungry and he's going to try it anyway because it probably isn't a trap. And hello and behold, he gets caught. Oops. The big fish decides he can't find another fish to eat, so he may as well eat a worm because that's his best deal. And of course, he gets caught. And then you have that little tiny fish, and he looks at that worm again and he says, if I eat that, I'm going to explode. And so he is this realist, and he just still says, that isn't going to work for me. That absolutely isn't going to work for me. So he stays within his character, and within what we see from him originally, whereas the other 2 fish change. That makes those fish very, very interesting. The next piece that makes this story work is its predictableness. That thread that goes all the way through that says, good things come to those who wait. Or, good things come to those who wait. And that absolutely helps you draw in, because if you're a younger child, then you're going to want to repeat it with. It also gives you this clue that, hello, this little boy's going to get his fish. We know that almost from the beginning. We absolutely know that. And when you as an audience member, whether you be a reader or a listener, know more than your storyteller or that person, then, it makes you feel really cool. And it makes you feel really, really good. But then comes the twist. And when a story has a twist, it leaves your audience thinking, and it makes them go, oh, that was a really good story. That was really cool. And the twist is that not only does a little boy discover that good things come to those who wait, but also it's true for the little baby fish. He never eats the worm, and certainly he keeps waiting and waiting, and good things come to him because he doesn't get caught. And the little boy and his family see the humor in that. And as you come to the end of the story, you hopefully see the humor as well. That's the twist. That's the twist that you're not expecting as a member of that audience. You expect the little boy to get his reward, but you don't expect the baby fish to get that reward. And when you put that twist in, then that makes it a really, really fun tale. So, when you're looking at writing or storytelling, it's really important to remember the rule of 3. It's really important to use predictability to pull your audience in, particularly if it's young. It's equally important to make sure your characters are strong in some way, even if it's a short story. Give them something that really makes them jump out. But finally, make sure you give it a twist. So, anyway, those are just some tips for writing and storytelling that I'm finding as I'm growing and learning as an author and a storyteller. Have a wonderful day and keep writing, keep reading, and keep telling stories.